who's following the Soccer World Cup? There's got to be some other people like Marlon. Oh, there we go. Marlon's up first. Okay, so first, I'm not a massive soccer fan, but I've been watching a little bit of it now and again. But I had a real good chuckle tonight. Someone sent me this, and I thought it was really funny. It's if Italy wins the World Cup, we're going to get free pizzas. If Mexico wins, we're going to get free tacos. If Germany wins, we're going to get free beers. I've just changed. I'm supporting Colombia. So I don't know about you, but I thought
no, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I thought that was fairly funny for a Tuesday night. It tickled my sense of humor anyway. So what are you going to get? What is the biggest export of Colombia, Abdallah? Very close, very close. Yes, it's little white lines, I suppose. So welcome, folks. Well, I suppose financially you could always invest in that if you're that way inclined. So so great to have you. Great to have you with us tonight. And how many of you are with us on this webinar for the first time? You've never been on one of our webinars or one of my webinars before. If you just type in and say first time, and go from there. I can see some of you were on the sales webinar earlier, and you're on this one. So great to have you back. So okay, good. Kim, welcome. First time for the financial webinar. Good to have you here. Anyone else? First timers? Gloria, welcome, Gloria. Welcome, Barbara. Great. And those of you that are back again, Valerie, welcome, Valerie. Those of you that are back again, welcome back. And tonight we're going to talk a little bit about, are you prepared for your financial future? Are you prepared for your financial future? And I'm just going to ask you, when I ask that question, is great, Kim. Kim's got her daughter with her. Brilliant. So no better time to start learning about financial freedom than when you're a teenager, because they definitely don't teach you that at school. So yeah. So let me ask you this: when we ask the question, "Are you prepared for your financial future?" What do we mean? Anyone want to type in? What do you think? What do you think that means? Are you prepared for your financial future? Either type it in or unmute your mic and you can comment. Okay, good. So do you have a plan where you want to be financially? Okay, good. So to be financially free? Okay, good. Anything else?
Have you got a timeline?
Have you got a?
Timeline.
Have you got a timeline? Good. So have you got a timeline? Very good. Anything else? Fonny says, long-term financial plan, financially free, build a legacy. Shani says, have you started working on something so far? Shani, do you want to expand on that? What does that mean? I know many people that have started working on a job long ago, and that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be financially free. Shani, if you just want to type in there, what do you just want to expand a little bit for us on that? When you say, have you started working on something so far? Some people start something around a financial plan, but never actually get to the goal. They're stuck halfway and they leave it. Any guesses why many people do that? With what Shani's just said, some people start something around a financial plan, but they never actually get to the goal. They get stuck halfway and leave it. Why? Why does that happen? Why? How many of you have been there? How many of you might even be there right now? You had these dreams, these plans. You wanted to get something, but it's just not happening. Any reasons? Lack of focus and commitment. Missing the aspects of real financial understanding. Okay? Lack of focus. Consistency and endurance is not easy to get to the top. Okay, good. Can't factor in and then you get demotivated. Good. Fani says procrastinating. Anyone get stuck in procrastination? Abdullah, sometimes you indulge in too many things. Okay, good. Lack of focus, too many things on the go. Sometimes we get returns that we don't expect. So, I'm going to share a couple of things that I believe that hold us back from achieving those things. The first, for me, and the most important thing is this word here. Just confirm, can you see that whiteboard screen? Okay, great, thank you. So for me, the first thing is this, and it's this word, education. What type of education? Financial education, not formal education, not degrees, not diplomas, but the right level of financial education. How many of you are not taught finance at school? How many of you are not taught about money at school? How many of you are taught what really a lot around what Robert Kiyosaki teaches? How many of you are taught that go to school, get a great education so that you can get a great job, so you can make a lot of money, so by the time you're 60, you can save a lot and you can retire and everything's going to work out well for you? Anyone connect with that? How many of you are starting to realize or have already realized or realized a long time ago that plan is not really working out anymore? It used to, 30, 40 years ago, that plan worked. I know when my dad was my age, that plan was probably working. I don't know about you, but what I'm finding today and what many people are finding today is that's not working. And Kim says, Margaret, her 15-year-old daughter, says she doesn't even learn that at school today. So it's not only people that went to school like us a long time ago, but people that are going to school today are not getting the education. And what is that education? That education is really an understanding of what is money and where does money come from. So last week we talked a little bit about financial future and what do you need to put away in order to be able to be financially free. So the end result, a lot of times I think, so one is education, and lack of education often means that we don't really understand what the end result is. So I'm pretty sure that most of you on this call have got a pretty good idea about this. What is it that you want to have? You know, what do you want to have in the next 12 months? What do you want to have in the next 5 years? What do you want to have in the next 10 years? I think on one of the webinars that we've done recently on the financial side, we've talked about a 10-year plan and setting out a 10-year timeline. In the Network 21 business, one of the top leaders there, a guy called Mitch Sala, does some awesome teaching around setting up a 10-year timeline and understanding where you're going in the next 10 years. So I'll ask this: how many of you have a very clear financial goal on what you want to achieve in the next 12 months? Who could write down in the next 12 months? I'm very clear on what I want in the next 12 months. What do you want to have in the next 12 months? Okay. If you don't have clarity on what you want in the next 12 months, do me a favor, just write "don't know" or "no." Just put "no" in it. It's okay. Anyone else? Abdullah, not sure. Shani says financial flow. Rion, financial freedom. Barney, $10,000 per month. Okay, good. Now we're getting clearer. Okay, anyone else? Tarai, TJ. Okay, TJ said I don't know or I do know. Kim, I have an idea but no specifics. TJ, I don't know. Okay, good. What about in the next 5 years? How many of you are very clear on what you want in the next 5 years? Financially. What do you need? Less certain. Wealth generating asset. Shani, what does that mean? You don't have to answer that, but I'm asking the question, what does that mean? Margaret wants her own car and home. Yes, Margaret. At 15, that is a great goal. TJ, I know 200K in every 30 days. Shani, having an asset working for me. Okay, what about in the next 10 years? How many of you are clear? What do you want in the next 10 years? What does that amount of money look like? Where does that money come from? Is it passive or is it active income? So the first step is, if you are not clear on what that looks like, if you're not clear on the number, if it is not written down, if you do not look at it on a day-to-day basis, then it is a fantasy. Savary says, money working for me, absolute financial freedom. What is the number? Abdullah says a portfolio of assets. Okay, now we got to dial it back to what are you going to do this week? What are you going to do this week, next week? So the second reason many people don't achieve financial goals is because they actually don't have any. They have a fantasy. They have an idea in their head. They have words like, I want to be financially free. But what is financial freedom? What will make you financially free? How much money do you need to put away? How much money do you need to put into an asset in order to allow you to be financially free? So clarity in terms of what do you want to have is essential. So being prepared for the financial future is being clear on what you want to have. So first step, education. Second step, clarity around what is it that you want to have. The third step is this. What do you need to do? So that comes down to education and skills. Once you've got an idea of what you want to have, are you clear on what you need to do? Now you got to be asking yourself questions. Where am I going to learn what I need to do? Who am I going to learn from? Who's going to mentor me? What are the type of people that I need to be hanging out with? So the second thing is, or the third thing is, now what do I need to do? And lastly, and this is the single most, in my mind, single most important thing, and it's this. Who do you need to be? What is the mindset that you need to develop in order to be able to do what you need to be able to do, in order to be able to have what you need to be able to have. Now, I'm pretty sure that I've probably drawn this flip chart in each one of the previous 2 financial webinars that we have. But I believe this is the single most important thing, is who is it that you need to be? What is the mindset of the person or the people that you need to develop in order to have the financial future that you want to have? So let's recap. If you don't know what you want to have, then it's very hard to find out what you need to do to have what you want to have. If you don't know what you want to have, then it's very hard to understand who you need to be in order to achieve what you want to have. You know, like Robert says, there's many, many, many ways. There's many ways to make money. There's many ways to become rich. The question is, which one do you want? Which path do you want to follow? And a lot of it depends on what is it that you want to have. So what do you need to do in order to work on your financial mindset? What are you doing to change the way you think about money and about the creation of money and the creation of wealth? Because would it be fair to say that most people operate like this? When I have, then I can do, and then I will be. So you hear things like this. When I win the lotto and I have many millions of dollars, then I can do what people with many millions of dollars do, and that's spend and buy nice stuff. And when I spend and buy nice stuff, then I will be very happy. Well, reality is this, is you probably won't be very happy because you'll spend, buy nice stuff, you'll have no money, you'll be unhappy. Why? Because poor people spend, that's what they do, because that's what they think rich people do. And the key component is this. If you want to change that, you've got to operate the other way around. You've got to shift your thinking from who do I need to be to what do I need to do to what do I need to have. When you do that, what you start understanding is what is it that I need to do in order to be, which allows me to be, to do, in order to have and create growth. And this is done over time. That's why Robert says creating wealth is time-based. Making money can be done overnight. So what is first step? What are you doing to educate yourself right now? What are you doing to change the way you think about money? And that's one of the reasons why we spend a lot of time studying this book called Why the Rich Are Getting Richer. And in the program that we run called Awaken Your Financial Genius, the core fundamental of the program is to help people shift the way that they think. So shifting the mindset, So in terms of the future, what are you doing to create the future? A lot of people say to me, I need more money. If I have more money, then I'll be okay. I ask them one simple question. What are you doing with the money that you have right now? And if they tell me they're spending it, I've learned this, that there's a huge probability that if what they're doing with the 1,000 Rand, they'll do with 100,000 Rand, they'll do with 1,000,000 Rand, because that's who they are, and that is this piece around their being. When they shift their being and change who they're being, they start creating a very different financial platform to create very, very different results that come from the future. So who are you shifting to be? Okay. The next step is, what is it when you go to what is it that you want to have? What type of, so when I go through your answers here, I want to have a portfolio of assets. What type do you want to play it? Where do you want to create the results that you want to create? Are you focused on making money? Are you focused on make money for you? Do you want to trade? Are you going to go into the property environment? If you're going to go into the property environment, are you prepared to learn, study, and understand property? If you're going to go into stocks and shares, are you prepared to learn, study, and understand stocks and shares? If you're going to go into business, are you prepared to learn, study, and understand business? And if you're going to go into, for example, the network marketing game, are you prepared to learn, study, and understand network marketing? In the modern age of money, if you're going to go into cryptocurrencies, for example, are you prepared to learn, study, and understand cryptocurrency? Or in all those areas, are you prepared to give your money to somebody else to do what they want to do with your money and promise you a return? You know, as Robert says, and I said it last week, if you don't know what to do with your money, somebody else definitely does. So last week we talked about what do I want to do with my money, or what should I do with my money. This week, let's talk a little bit about, are you prepared for the future? Why? Because I don't know if you're like me, I believe that in the next couple of years, starting pretty soon, we're going to go into some very tough financial times. Now, you know, globally, I think, and this is not my wisdom. I just follow the likes of Robert Kiyosaki and Sandy DeJaja and Harry Dent and the guys that forecast and look at the futures of where the markets are going. And many of them are saying that we're in some very precarious times, coming close to potentially to a crash. So the question is, are you preparing yourself to be able to work through that? Or are you doing like most people, sticking your head in the sand and hoping that it'll go away, or hoping that it doesn't come? And then when it does come, not knowing how to handle it. You know, so in Awaken Your Financial Genius, one of the things that we go through is how crashes make the rich richer, and how, if you understand where crashes come from, how you can prepare yourself in order to make money in the times when things are really dropping. So, you know, Robert predicted a crash in sort of 2007 and 2008, and he was shot down by many people, and in many areas that crash came. South Africa, I suppose, to a large degree, because of the 2010 Soccer World Cup, we had a little bit of a Band-Aid put over us, and we didn't really feel it like the rest of the world. But if it comes again, in fact, not even if it comes again, when it comes again, are you prepared, and do you know what you're in line for? So are you focused on making money right now, or are you focused on make money for you? What are you doing with the money that you have? Do you have a very structured plan? Are you studying how to use your money, or are you giving it to somebody else to use your money in the way that they understand, without you really understanding that? So, any questions or comments what I've talked about so far? Questions, comments? Yeah, Shawnee, so if only we could have learned this stuff 10 years ago. Great comment. The question is, you're starting to, you have the opportunity to learn it now. So I speak to many people and I say, they give them the opportunity to learn, and they're not interested. And some of those people will be like you and turn around in 10 years' time and say, if only I could have learned this stuff 10 years ago. The reality is this: time and timing. You know, the opportunity to learn is really now. My question to you would be, if you didn't learn it 10 years ago, what are you going to learn now? What are you going to take up now in order to change the future for yourself, your family, and whatever you want to create going forward? So Abdullah says, how do we learn about the crash and how to make money from it? Well, part of that is about studying. I mean, one of the things that Robert Kiyosaki studies is he studies history. He goes back and he has done. He's done that for years and years and years, and studied history. So it is you can do things like read some of his books, like Why the Rich Are Getting Richer, and in there you'll see that he talks about a number of the crashes, where they came from, how they came from. What you do is there's tons of stuff that you can get access to that you can study. In our program, Awaken Your Financial Genius. That, Shawnee, is what it's all about. It's about helping people really come awake. First of all, come awake, and move away from the fact, away from the learning that, away from that learning that if I go and get a good job, I'm going to make money, and the harder I work, the more money I make, then I'm going to be okay. The reality is how many of you know people that are working damn hard, making lots of money, and if they so I'm going to ask you this. Let me ask each one of you. Do this little calculation. If you lost your job or your primary source of income tomorrow, how many weeks or months could you live in the current manner within which you're accustomed to living? It's a pretty scary thought. But that really is what wealth is. So 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, 12 months, 24 months. Or if you put enough away in an investment that'll keep paying you based on the asset value and on the inflation change and the increase in expenses, that'll be able to keep you in the manner within which you're accustomed for the rest of your life. I know very few people that can do that. Most people, not most people, even people, I've got mates that earn tons of money, and I mean tons of money every single month. Tons. And if they lost their job or they lost their businesses and that income didn't come in every month, they'd lose everything. They'd lose their house, their car, their boat, their jet ski, the whole lot. Great lifestyles, but based on go to work, get a good job, work hard every month, and that proviso of go to work, earn money, go to work, earn money, go to work, earn money, stop work, stop earning, stop earnings. How long can you keep going? And that's one of the biggest questions I'm always asking myself. What am I creating to create a different level of income? What is my understanding when it comes to that level of income? So Kim says, bring your daughter or your kids to these seminars, and they, she will eyeball you. Yeah, she'll eyeball you when mistakes are highlighted. Teen accountability is very powerful. So TJ says the reality of his life was that winter is always coming. Yeah, the question is, are you prepared? Do you have your beanie, or is your head going to get frozen? But you know that it's going to come. The question is, what are you doing about it? What are you doing to protect yourself? What are you doing to take advantage of it? Not only to protect yourself, but if you understand what's going to happen, if you understand when it's coming, can you take advantage of the good and the bad times? So what are you doing to change that? So, some interesting things that Robert talks about going forward. For example, he says, so before 2008, in 2016, he looked at a couple of things, and he said, this is from the Wall Street Journal, May 21st, 2016. U.S. credit card balances are on track to hit $1 trillion this year as banks aggressively push their plastic and consumers grow more comfortable carrying debt. Remember what happened in 2008? The bubble burst. Debt. Carrying the wrong type of debt. Consumer debt. That sum would come close to the all-time peak of $1.02 trillion set in July 2008, just before the financial crisis. So it's sitting right there. In addition, lenders have signed up millions of subprime consumers who previously weren't able to get credit. Credit cards are one of the few business lines working for banks right now. So, what does that mean? What does that mean to the future? What does that mean to where you sit? And are you ready to capitalize on it? Or is it going to capitalize on you? So Fanny says, yes, we'll be able to carry on with the current passive income. Excellent. How many of you could honestly say that if something happened to your income, you could keep going? So my question is, what are you going to do about it? What are you doing about it at the moment? What are you going to do about it going forward in terms of shifting the way you think about money? So two key things. The first step is you have to be able to create money, and creating money comes from your ability to be able to do this. And I talked about this last week, your ability to be able to sell. So what are you doing to create income right now? What are you doing to create income? What are you doing to become an income generating machine to create income beyond maybe your job or beyond the income that you get out of your business? Or what are you doing to increase the level of income that you're generating in your business so that sales generates income? As your income goes up, it allows you to be able to rechannel that income and start putting it into some form of asset, because it's that asset that will generate the money that you require to go forward. It's not the amount of money that you actively generate every single month that keeps coming in. It's what you do with that active income to put it into an asset that generates the income that you need. So my question to you is, how prepared are you going into your future? Whether there's a crash or whether there's no crash, are you really, and I mean truly, honestly, really prepared for the future? And that's what awareness is all about. It's about, are you aware of where you sit? Are you brutally honest? Are you brutally honest of where you are? Because, you know, the first step is this. Can you get real with yourself? So getting real with yourself is understanding right now, where do I sit? Once you understand where you sit, then you can determine what is it that, and if I go back to that first flip chart that I did, what is it that I need to do in order to go to where I want? So this, for each one of us, is very, very, very different. This piece here is very different for each one of us. But where do you sit? And then can you be truly, truly honest with yourself? You know, and that's, I believe, the first step is be honest. Where do I sit? What knowledge do I have? What is it that I need to learn in order to move on? And then most importantly, who is it that I need to be or become in order to be able to create what I need to be able to create? Because if we get stuck in this, if we get stuck in the thinking that what I need is waiting to have, then we're going to have a problem. How many people do you know that are waiting to have the lotto, that are waiting to have an increase, that are waiting to have more money, that are waiting to have a job? And their mindset says, when I have, then I will be able to do, and then ultimately I will be able to be. It's not when I have, it's who do I need to be. Because sadly, for many people, if you do not have the mindset to have the lotto that you want, or the $1 million that you want, or the million rand that you want, or whatever it is that's going to get you to where you want to go, get you out of where you are. If you have that, but you do not have the being and you do not understand the doing of what to do, that will disappear pretty fast. That's one of the reasons why many people who win the lotto don't have it for very long afterwards. As Fonny says, that was my biggest drawback in the past. Look, how many of you have made a lot of money before, but you struggle to keep it? How many of you know people that have made a lot of money before, but they struggle to keep it? And they think, if I just make more, what happens is they have and it goes and it goes until they shift this. When they shift this, they do this in a very different way. And some core fundamentals, instead of spending, they invest. But they learn to invest. They understand the power of investing. And ultimately, at the end of the day, they understand why the rich get richer and do what the rich do. So any comments or questions on that? Any comments, questions? Okay, so Fonny says, that was my problem in the past. I was not prepared to invest in myself, training programs, webinars, etc. 100%. I believe that the most important investment you can make in yourself is in your own mind, is in this being part in yourself. I'll ask you this. In terms of your financial future right now, how much do you invest? What monthly expense do you budget to invest in yourself, in your own training, in your own mindset, in your own way that you think? In my business and in my life, my single biggest investment, outside of venues, rooms, and all that sort of stuff, my single biggest investment is on myself and my wife and in the minds that we have. So Isla says, are there coaches in SA to help one with this? 100%. Isla, I'll talk a little bit about it just now and go from there. Abdullah, right now, Awaken Your Financial Genius is only done in South Africa, but as you know, I'm coming to Kenya to do a two-day event in the next couple of months. So we'll be able to go through some of the key principles that are taught in Awaken Your Financial Genius over those 2 days. So around money, around mindset of money, around how the rich think, any questions that maybe if I can help you with before we finish off tonight. A little bit of an open question and answer session. You know, for me, what's really important is when it comes to learning is being able to, for you to be able to learn what you need to learn, not necessarily, and I said this in the sales webinar, not necessarily what the teacher wants to teach. So right now, Kim, how do you approach investing if you already have a lot of debt? Great question, Kim. So I'm going to ask you this. How do you think you'd do that? How do you think you'd do that, Kim? So how do you approach investing if you already have a lot of debt? Perhaps by saving a bit each month until you have enough to put something into an investment. Okay, good. So, Kim, for me, and I learned this from a guy called Kenny McElroy, who is one of Robert's Rich Dad property advisor. And Kenny says this: debt is money. And when I heard that, it was very profound. Debt is money. Right type of debt is money. Most people are getting in the wrong type of debt. So you've got to shift your debt. You know, in my business, I'm often getting into debt in order to create wealth. I will go into debt in order to be able to leverage an opportunity to be able to sell stuff, in order to be able to create income, in order to be able to invest in something else. Okay. So do you understand debt, and do you understand how to leverage debt in order to create results? So Valerie says, Robert says you don't pay the debt, you invest money first, then pay the debt after making the money. Yeah. So Valerie, I think, you know, each person sits in different situations. But at the end of the day, what you want to do is you want to be able to try and create some form of asset so you can start creating cash flow in order to be able to make the money work so you can pay out the debt rather than just paying the debt up front. But it all comes down, I believe, to what do the numbers tell you. So, you know, finance, investing, wealth, business, sales, the language of all those is numbers. So part of financial literacy is understanding the numbers. So when you understand the numbers and when you understand the cost and the return of money, then you can really start making the decisions around what are the best decisions for me. So Rion says, cryptocurrency, what's your opinion on them? Is there enough of it to overtake the current currencies, to run the countries, or to pay our lifestyles? So Rion, I've got a couple of colleagues that are highly successful in cryptocurrency. I right now do not venture into cryptocurrency very much, pretty simply because I don't know a lot about it, and I sort of take the advice of Kiyosaki, where Robert says, if you're going to put your money somewhere, then learn about it and understand it. So my passion really is business and properties. So I would rather, you know, really love business and would rather take money, invest it into businesses, grow it through my businesses, and then turn it into property from there right now. But does it mean that I won't get involved in cryptocurrency? No. Do I believe that cryptocurrency has a future? I would be very naive, very arrogant, and very egoistic if I was to say that there's nothing to cryptocurrency and it's short term. And this world changes so fast. There's so many new things that happen all the time. I do think that cryptocurrency is a real thing, just like gold and silver are real things, just like fiat currency or government money is a real thing. And, you know, Robert explains it like this. I love his explanation. Is you have fiat currency, which is government money. You have cryptocurrency, which is man's money. And you have gold and silver, which is God's money. You decide where you want to play. But I would also suggest study it, understand it. And, you know, I've got a couple of good mates that they do exceptionally well out of what they've invested in cryptocurrency. But they invest it, they understand it, they know how it works, and they play the game. You know, so they've spent a lot in educating themselves. So definitely, I believe that it's a real thing. I just right now haven't had the time in order to be able to understand that. Abdullah says, how do you leverage debt? How do you leverage debt? So Abdullah, there's a number of ways to leverage debt. I'll give you an example. So in my seminar business, I sell books, for example. So if I know that I'm doing a seminar and I have 100 people in the room, and I know that that I would sell 300 books, but I don't have the cash to be able to buy those books, then what I could do is I could go into debt in order to get those books manufactured, and know that I'm going to sell those books. So let's say I know that I can get the books manufactured for $50, and I can sell them for $100, and the cost, and I'm going to get 1,000 books manufactured. There will be 50,000, and I know in 12 months I'm going to be able to sell all those 1,000 books for $100. My turnover, I'd be able to go into get 50,000 in debt. Let's say it cost me I don't know, let's just say I could get it for ease of calculation, 10% per annum. It's going to cost me 5,000. The cost of money is, let's just say 20%. The cost of money is 10,000. Would it be worth going into debt for 50,000, leveraging at a cost of 10,000, selling it for 100,000 and making 40,000 profit in order to be able to use that to then create velocity of money and start making that money move? That's one way to leverage debt. The other, you get it, you know, there's numerous ways when you understand that, you know, Robert wrote a really great book called Other People's Money, and that is called leveraging debt. So, you know, I would suggest get your hands on Other People's Money, and that'll give you some good context around debt leverage. Gloria, Kim, I've been in the same situation once. You put something away, then cash flow is slow for almost 2 months, and you end up using the same savings, but there's certain things not to be paid. House, cars. How do you stop paying for those debts? Well, how many people, you know, again, Gloria, it gets into how many people are getting themselves into debt to live a life of status. You know, nice car, nice house, great thing. But how many people are buying huge cars for 20, 25,000 rand a month, and they're working damn hard just to pay off that car when they could actually take 20,000 a month, buy a smaller car for 5,000, take that 20,000, buy an asset over a period of time that'll start creating leverage and use the asset to buy the car. So they're not in trouble when their active cash flow dies up, when their active income dies up. You know, that, you know, one of my colleagues has a great termination. That's called status. When you borrow money to buy things that you don't need to impress people that you don't like. You know, so I'm not saying that that's what you're doing, but a lot of people get stuck into that. So again, everything's negotiable. So when you're in debt, can you negotiate a way out of it? Can you honor the debt and negotiate a way out of it? So Kim says, I was in debt a lot and I found ways to add value to other people's lives, that is, who have money, and I started selling my value to them, 100%. So Kim, what you learned and what you leveraged is sales equals income. When you add value to people, you'll get your way out of where you're at, and then you'll be able to run from there. So guys, I really hope this discussion's helping you. Yeah, so Valerie says instant gratification. That could be part of the problem. Okay, good. Any other questions? So someone asked Jack, Gloria, you asked Jack, are you doing consulting? You want to expand on that a little bit? Yeah, so Shania says we need to learn to live within our means and focus our energy on wealth creation. Yeah, so for a period of time, are you prepared to live within your means so that you can live outside your means once you've created wealth? The question is how quickly do you want to do it, and how long do you want to scrimp and save? So Gloria, you ask, what value is he adding to his clients? Do you want to expand on that a little bit? So Jack, are you doing consulting? Okay, cool. Any other questions, guys? So I'll go back to where I started. The first thing is what are you doing to educate yourself? What are you doing to create financial awareness, to become financially literate in order to understand where you sit and where you want to go. And on a call like this, every single one of us will be at a very different place. But wherever you sit, what are you doing to move to the next place? Do you really know where you are? Are you really aware? And are you prepared to do what it takes legally, ethically, and morally? And are you prepared to be who you need to be to create the results that you want? Or are you just waiting to have, thinking that the having will solve all your problems? Yeah, don't make your life smaller because of your problem. Make yourself bigger than your problem. The question's this: when it comes to money, how big is your game? How big is your game? And the answer is this: it's as big as the little voice you can overcome. And that, at the end of the day, is what Robert calls financial intelligence or financial intelligence. How financially intelligent are you is dependent on the size of the money problem you can overcome. If you can overcome a 1,000 Rand problem and you can't get past that, your level of financial intelligence is 1,000 Rand. If you can't overcome a 10,000 Rand problem, your level of financial intelligence is 10,000 Rand, and so on. And that comes from awareness and education. So, any questions before I wrap up? So I'd just like to invite you guys next Wednesday, next Saturday on the 7th is next Saturday on the 7th of July from 9 until 1:30 to 2 p.m. I'm doing an event called Play the Money Game. It's based on the program that we're teaching called Awaken Your Financial Genius. It's an introduction to Awaken Your Financial Genius. It's if you come along to that program, I'll introduce you to a number of the concepts that we teach in Awaken Your Financial Genius. You'll learn from Robert Kiyosaki, and you'll get an understanding of really what it is that makes the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, and what would you need to do in order to create a very different lifestyle financially. So Isla, what I would suggest, come along on Saturday, come and join us, and maybe it'll just give you a different perspective to how you think and who you could work with in order to be able to create a different level of awareness to create something different. So come and join us Saturday the 7th. Play the Money Game. It is at the Nickel Hotel in Bedford View. So seats are limited probably to about 60. It's a very inexpensive event. It's 150 Rand per person. Come along, come and spend 3.5 hours with myself and my team, and I'll take you through a process of why the rich get richer, introduce you to the uncovering, into the Awaken Your Financial Genius program. And not only that, how many of you wouldn't mind spending about 6 hours in a very small exclusive room with Robert Kiyosaki and Tom Wheelwright, his tax advisor? When I mean a small room, a group of people, probably no more than 70 people, for a period of about 6 to 7 hours. How many of you think that would be a very powerful room to be part of, to be able to ask questions and listen to what guys like Robert and Tom Wheelwright have to say? So if that's something that would really interest you, Robert is coming out for an event with Success Resources at the end of July. It's a 2-day event, and I'm very, very excited that due to work that I've been doing with him and the work that I do with him and the Rich Dad Advisors, both here and in the US and through this Awaken Your Financial Genius program, I've been able to sort of get Robert to spend a day with me and my team and some of our sort of key associates, if you want, and people that are on our programs. And if that's something that would excite you, something that you think you would get a lot of benefit out of, spending sort of half a day really learning in a very small, much smaller room from a guy like Robert Kiyosaki and Tom Wheelwright, then I'm going to encourage you, come along to the Nickel Hotel on Saturday, the 7th of July. Come and play the money game. Bring yourself, your family, your business partner, some friends, and just come and see if there's some different options to creating a very different financial future. Remember, this is your life. You have one life. What are you doing to make the most of it financially? And people say to me, money is not important. I just learned this. Whatever you want to do in life, you need money. You want to make a difference in life? You want to live a great life? You want to create greatness for other people? It requires money. So thank you for being with us tonight. And I really hope you got value and love to see you at the Nickel Hotel on the 7th. Go into the link, book your seat, and come along and join us. And just before I wrap up, any last questions or comments that you would like me to answer quickly if I can? Pleasure, Fani. And to you too, TJ. Thank you, buddy. Valerie, there will probably be another session besides the 7th. If you, Moralise has your email address. If you just type your email address privately to Moralise, she will let you know. Pleasure, Kim. Great having you on this call. So those of you that are interested in the 7th, if I can just ask you, why don't you just type 7th in the chat box, and the team will get in touch with you and give you some more information. We'll go into the link and book your seat right now. So I just want to thank you guys. Thank you for spending the evening. Hope it was a lot of value. And I just ask you, if you got value, I just ask you, wouldn't you mind passing the link on for these webinars to somebody else? And who knows, they may get value as well and really change their financial future. So thank you. Have a blessed evening. Have an amazing week. Get out there, sell, generate income, use that money to generate more money and make a positive difference in this world. Marlon, back to you. Thanks, bud.
Thanks, Barry. Thank you, everyone. Just to let you know, this recording will be available. So just stay tuned to your emails, and I hope you have a good evening and to your financial. And probably see you next week for our next round of webinars. Thank you. Good evening.